The Hustleshare podcast is sponsored by One CFO, the Philippines' leading fractional CFO services provider for startups, scale-ups, and SMEs. Experience the power of tech-enabled, efficient, affordable, and expert-led fractional CFO services. Let One CFO handle your finances so you can focus on growing your business. Book your free CFO consultation today.
Welcome to the latest episode of the Share Podcast. This is long overdue once again. So again, if you are one of those people who are long overdue, I'm not trying to avoid you. It's just that sometimes founder life happens and Hustleshare is the one that gets waylaid a lot. But again, long overdue, and finally we got him here. But without further ado, let's welcome to the show the founder and managing partner or CEO. I don't know what the proper is. It managing partner, CEO, founder? Is all one
Same thing. Whichever,
right.
man.
Of Springboard Philippines, Mr. Jake. Go. Jake. Broski. You are here. Finally.
Thank you for having me. Finally. Thank you for having me. I'm a big fan. I've listened to a couple of your podcasts already, a couple of your episodes. And for the audience sake, I've been bugging Ron to be on the show. But as he mentioned, he's not trying to avoid me. But
no talaga. Just dude, sorry.
No. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm still a founder. I wish I was just chilling na lang, but nah. PNA
I know.
over everything will happen technically. But again, without further ado, because we have a lot to unpack today, I need to ask you the $1 million question. Jake, what's your hustle?
Okay, so basically my hustle is mainly with Springboard Philippines. No? So as Ron mentioned, I've been doing this for quite a while already. I founded the company back in 2013. Made a lot of mistakes. So just like the audience, just like you, it's mainly just having the courage to start something. Then eventually just figuring out as you go along. No? So there's a nice metaphor that I always run with. When you jump off a cliff, talaga. Tapos parang you just figure out a way to build a plane while you're falling down.
Yep.
Right? So that's pretty much the experience I've been for the past 12 years with Springboard. Very lucky to have friends along the way, friends like Ron, to be able to help me navigate the startup ecosystem. Made a lot of partnerships, made a lot of collaborations. I managed to be able to invest in a couple of companies along the way also. So that's good. That's the ideal situation. So para sinasabi ni Tito Mikey, I'm sure you're familiar with Tito Mikey, malayo na, pero malayo pa.
Yeah.
Malayo pa.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love it. No, but again, for those people who are curious and still don't know what Springboard Philippines is, what is Springboard PH?
Okay, so Springboard PH basically is a staffing company that focuses on technology. Right. So think about a regular BPO, but mainly we service local companies. We have a couple of clients in Singapore. We have a couple of clients in Australia, a tad bit in the US, and a tad bit in Canada. It's a smaller version of the big BPOs you see, the Convergys of the world, the Optums of the world. So it's basically a smaller, more niche kind of company. We focus on staffing, technology, and e-commerce. So that's mainly our verticals that we play around with.
That is amazing. All right. Now, before we even talk about Springboard Philippines, because again, I have nothing but respect for startup founders who even make it past 3 years. What more for 11 or 12 years? That's 3x, 4x of what a normal startup lifestyle is. Because, man, I've seen a lot of people come and go along the way. There's only a few of us who are left standing. And that's what I want to unpack later. But before that, I need you to buckle up real quick. For every single startup founder that we've had here, there is an origin story that's super inspiring. Now, I need you to buckle up because we're going to have to go all the way back to how it started and how you got to be in the Philippine startup ecosystem before Springboard PH. Because we're going to have to ride the Hustleshare time machine. There you go. And we're all the way back. And that's what I want to find out. Okay, so when I go to the time machine, I always have a question in my mind, like, how would he have started? And I'm really coming out on a place of curiosity. and I'm always want to really understand how you got here. But first things first, I want to understand, Jake, what were the very first influences to hustling that you remember, and what are the first few hustles that you remember doing as a young kid?
Okay, as a young kid, I have to admit, I was born into I wouldn't say well-off family, but I was born into a very comfortable family.
Okay.
So the hustle in that sense wasn't really there at a very, very early age, right? When I was 11 or 12, though, I would see my grandma. So basically in Recto, right? So yung uso pa yung before, yung mga cinemas, right? My grandma would have a very small canteen. Yung nagbebenta ng mga soft drinks,
Yeah.
right? Nagbebenta ng soft drinks, chips, and everything else. Yung mga movies pa natin doon, those are the nude movies, the bold movies, right? And I
Before
was a
Viva
kid.
Max. Okay.
For the old school versions. So I was 12, I was 13 nung
Okay.
time na yun. I wasn't able to go into the movies, of course, with obvious reasons. So I would go to the canteen with my grandma.
Okay.
No? So at that time, I saw her how she took care of at a very advanced age already. So my grandma passed away already a couple of years ago. So God bless her soul.
Yep.
But I've been very close with my grandma ever since. No?
Yep.
So nung time na yon, meron siyang canteen. I would always see her at a very advanced age. Timing-wise, in the morning, very early on time, very disciplined, would open up the canteen strictly at 7 a.m., right?
Wow.
So nung time na yon, I was like saying, Ama. So in Chinese, that's
Ama.
what we call her, right? So Ama, why would you open the canteen at a very early time? Wherein the movies are not showing it, right?
Yeah.
So she wanted to have her peace at that time. So she wanted to organize everything properly, prepare it for her customers, etc., etc. So this might sound very weird or perverted, but there was a loyal fan base who would watch those movies. Right? So
they're early birds in bold movies pala.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a very unique space, right?
Okay.
But from that scene, I managed to see my grandma at a very advanced age, even hustle her way, just to keep her mind sharp, and at the same time, she would always be very caring of her customers, no matter how perverted they are.
Yes.
Right?
Literally.
Literally. So these customers and the office people in the cinema manage my ama or my grandma managed to get the respect out of all these, like, of her colleagues, of the stakeholders involved, etc. So I saw that at a very young age, you know. So pre-12, pre-13, it was a very different story, as I mentioned. So I was at home, I was lazy, I was always playing games and everything. When I joined my grandma at a very young age, also at 12, 13, I saw how her hustle was. And in my mind, I was thinking, if my ama or my grandma at a very advanced age was hustling, wala akong karapatang mag-relax at a very young age. Right? So I have to find a way to be of use to society at that. So that was my first pivotal moment.
Wow.
Right? In trying to instill that accountability in myself to try to give back to the community one way or the other. I wasn't thinking about money. I wasn't thinking about money at that time. I was thinking about how will I have purpose in this world to give back to said community.
Galing. That's amazing. And again, I can relate so much. I'm also a Lola's boy, right?
Yeah.
Raised by a single mom and also raised by an amazing grandma. So I totally relate to you. I understand, because the type of hustle and the grind that they prepare with, I mean, as a young kid, you just literally gloss over it like, that's normal. But hindsight being 2020, like, my God, the amount of dedication that they have to do in whatever craft they're doing, but also put enough time and effort to actually take care of you.
Yep.
Like nobody else
Amen.
would. Nothing would do that. And again, this has nothing to do with business per se, but it applies to everything that I do. I realized my love language, I got it from my grandma and my mom, and it's acts of service.
Oh,
that's
wow.
it.
Okay.
That's like, if I love someone, I would do whatever it takes for them to feel that. That's it. So it's acts of service that really get passed on to me. So okay, obviously you have that pivotal. It's ingrained in you. What was it like in school, and how did you fall in love with the path that you eventually took?
To be honest, so for you, to the audience, I was lazy as fuck. I was I was
We all
lazy
had
as
that
fuck.
phase. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
I was lazy as fuck. I breezed through high school. I focused on certain extracurricular activities just to get away with certain academics. So luckily, I managed to graduate high school. Eventually went to Salle, took
Mhm.
computer science. I was delayed a
Oh.
year. I was delayed a year because of thesis, but I was one of the freeloaders of the group. And
Mm.
I'm not embarrassed to say that anymore.
Yeah.
At that time, again, hindsight is 2020. Now
Mhm.
looking at it, I was like, I was trying to really find ways to, alam mo yung highest impact or lowest effort, right?
Mm.
I was trying to always look for that path. There's a difference to that particular route
Mhm.
compared to a shortcut, right?
Correct.
A shortcut kasi is really trying to find cut corners
Yeah.
and everything, right? So for me, I was trying to find the highest impact way of doing things, but the lowest effort. And
Yep.
in the eyes of my some of my group mates at that time, they were like, "Oh, si Jake naghahanap na naman ng shortcut, ganyan ganyan, just to make sure that everybody passes, blah blah blah."
Yeah.
Isipin nyo na lang, at least we're in the group, we're in the same group. I'm doing this for all of us, not just for
Right.
me, right? So,
Mhm.
but the mindset was always like that.
Mhm.
And at that time, it wasn't learning that I was focused on. It was just trying to get by. No?
Mm.
So, nung time na yun. So, when I graduated, eventually, I worked for a very big conglomerate at that time called Headstrong.
Wow. Okay.
Now they got acquired by Genpact already. No, pero
Oh.
at that time, it's now an Indian BPO. No,
Okay.
nung time na yon, Headstrong, I applied for a very entry level role as a web developer or web designer. I couldn't even remember anymore. So
Wow.
I got that role. I worked for a year, pero pare, I didn't learn anything. It was worse than college. It was
Man.
worse than college
Mm.
because at that time I wouldn't blame my supervisor, but
Yeah.
the office culture itself was super relaxed. So
Mm.
ang pasok talaga is, for example, like 8 to 5, right? It's 8 to
Okay.
6 or 9 to 6,
Okay.
something like that. Papasok ako 10 o'clock na. Pasok ko ng 10 o'clock. I would do a little work. Then I would go to lunch at 11:30.
Okay.
I would hang out with my friends, come back to work maybe 1:32, 2 o'clock. Dapat 1 hour lang di ba?
Over break.
1:30, 2 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
I would do a little bit more work. Then at around 4 o'clock, I would go down again to play Dota.
Wow.
And I would go up. I would go up at around 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Overtime pa ako.
Wow.
Overtime pa ako.
Whoever sa HR listening to this, like, what the hell did you get away with this for a while?
It's very ironic that I'm in staffing right now.
Correct.
Also. Right?
Correct.
So nung time na yun, I lasted for a year in that company, no? Tapos, eventually, I got tired of it. You reach that
Wow.
point You reach that point wherein you question yourself, what the hell am I doing? Right? I have to do something of impact. So, along the way, I lost the accountability or the responsibility that my ama gave me or instilled in me. I forgot about it.
Mm.
Tapos eventually, one day, parang I was doing like an animation for a client in that said website design job. I was like, fuck this shit, man. Like I'm not doing any kind of service to the community that I want to
Yep.
serve.
Mm.
So right then and there, so the next day, or indeed right then and there, the next day I spoke to my manager
Mm.
and sabi ko, look, I don't think I can last any longer, blah blah blah. And they were saying like, how about I give you a raise? How about I like move you to another team, etc. etc. I was like, no, I think if you give me more money, it's all gonna be the same. It's not gonna be fulfilling.
Mm.
So I tendered my resignation. Then eventually, after a couple of days, I officially resigned. I went back to being a bum. So like I said, the family is kind of okay naman, right?
Yeah.
So may ipon din naman ako. So I had the luxury to quote unquote pahinga, right? So I hung out for a little bit and I was doing projects on the side, freelance work. Then eventually stumbled upon one of my friends who was with Kalibrr.
OG.
Yep.
Okay.
OG. So at that time, they were like, hey, Jake, I'm looking for an intern, blah, blah, blah. I was like,
Okay.
intern job, it's not gonna be paid. So wala talagang pera involved. But okay, I'm that stage now. Okay, I really want to learn,
Okay.
right? So I was a very timid guy at that time. So again, high school, college, I was breezing through everything.
Yeah.
If I can get away with not talking to anybody, just facing the computer. One reason why I took computer science also is I'd choose that, right? So my social battery would always drain very quickly.
Yeah.
So at that time, I wanted to put myself in a trial through fire ba?
Yep.
Kumbaga.
Yep.
Right? So parang I wanted to get involved in the outsourcing industry ever since. I wanted to have it at a very young age. I knew that I wanted to travel. I knew that I wanted my kids, my future kids, to be able to study abroad, for me to have an excuse to have business there also. So that's why outsourcing was very attractive to me.
Correct.
You know? So at that time, sabi ko, I didn't have exposure to any other country. But I saw the founders when I was researching about Kalibrr when my friend talked about it. So Paul Rivera was there, Dexter was there, very OG teams, right? So OG members of the startup founder club. So I said, okay, sige, let's try it out. Even though it's not paid, okay, let's try it out. So I think I was the first or second intern. I was doing design work. I was doing a little bit of. So I took the job. So my dad was like, "What the fuck are you doing again? Like, why did you resign for a well-paying job, not doing anything? It's not being a boomer, diba? So being a boomer,
right.
As long as you get paid, kahit walang purpose, hindi ka fulfilled or whatever, as long as you get paid, you get food on the table, you're good, right?
Yeah.
Hindi nila maintindihan yung concept ng, okay, I have to do something worthy of my time.
Yep.
So, nung time na yun, like, okay, we had a strange relationship at that time with my father. But we're now okay. We're now okay.
Yep.
So, parang because of that scenario, parang why the fuck are you like going to work without getting paid and blah blah blah? Didn't you have school at that time where you get to learn all this shit?
Correct.
Sabi ko, no, it's different. It's different when it's applied, and it's different when it's in theory, right? Correct. So parang it's very different talaga. So nung time na I took the intern job, I can't thank Paul and Dexter enough. Even my direct manager, I'm not sure if you know Tom Blackman. He's now with, I think with Zendesk.
The whitest black man that I know. I always say it.
Exactly. So I couldn't thank them enough, especially to Tom. Tom has changed my life so much. Yeah. It was a very sad day when he decided to move to Singapore, but I'm still trying to find a way to like sit him down and have drinks again with him. So anyway, so Tom specifically took me under his wing, taught me a lot.
One of the best mentors you can have.
I know. Tell me about it. So at that time, it was very pivotal. That's my second pivotal moment. Oh, you can say it's the third one because the second one was the fuck this shit kind of thing in the previous job, right? So my first one is my grandma. My second one was the dead end job that I had, and the third one was this. So fast forward. So when Tom left Kalibrr, sabi ko, okay, I think it's time for me to try something out also of myself, no? So nung time na yun, I managed to rake in a couple of opportunities from other ventures that I had. Managed to gain a lot of friends in the industry also. And I think I'm ready. So I wanted to try my hand in staffing solutions talaga, specifically to tech.
Okay.
So I tried that. Started 2013. Got a few clients through cold calling. So all founders had to go through this phase, right? So literally knocking on doors of offices. I tried that. Literally having like printed out brochures, going to the lobby of the office, waiting for like people to come through and just giving out. It's like parang you're selling condos, right? But instead of condos, you're selling a service without a booth, and you're gonna be doing hide and seek with the security guards in the in the lobby, right? So it was a fun time. At a very young age, I think I had the energy back then to be able to do that. I think a couple of companies saw the hustle and wanted to try our service. So eventually, we started Springboard, invested a couple of million. In less than 6 months, we managed to ROI everything.
Wow!
Right.
That's
so
amazing.
And the rest was history. I never raised funding for Springboard. It was all bootstrapped. I never had at that time. I never wanted to have the pressure of a VC or an angel breathing down my neck.
Yep.
I'm not saying like all angels or all VCs are like that. I'm,
No.
I'm sorry for generalizing, but at that time, my mindset was kind of like that. I didn't want like anybody dictating my speed. I wanted to like have my own thing, but still chill. If you know what I mean, right? So it took me a while to grow it because again, I wanted to be chill. And at a very early stage, it was ROI na eh. So parang, okay, wala nang talo, everything is profit after this.
You roll just
Right?
roll over the wins after that.
Exactly. So parang, again, so fast forward down the line, so I encountered a lot of like friends in the industry, learning basically the courage to actually talk to foreigners came from Paul, Dexter, and especially Tom, because these guys are all foreigners, right?
Yeah.
I've been born and raised here in the Philippines, not really as a traveler, but me having Tom by my side, I always was forced to speak in English. But like fast forward a couple of weeks into the working relationship, I didn't know that he spoke Tagalog pala, he spoke Filipino pala. So parang okay, oh shit. I'm like, anyway, so at least it was a learning thing for me, right?
That's amazing. No,
So,
and then again,
yeah.
big respects for those three. Again, I always just want to give my flowers to those three because when we were starting out in the startup ecosystem, Kalibrr was creme de la creme of all startup of all the startups. The first wave from 2012 probably to 2015. Everybody wanted to be like Kalibrr. YC startup had all the funding, front and center, and whatnot. But I've recently had, and dude, I'll come clean. You were very, very, very transparent with your candor of how wrong your mindset was before. As a young startup founder, and I want to share this because a lot of founders are probably going through this. I had my insecurity. First time founder, solo founder. I see these guys and like, oh my God, they're all the rave, blah, blah, blah. Kickstart's flexing them like crazy. Eventually, I get funded by Kickstart. But there was a lot of envy towards Kalibrr. And why am I talking about this? Because a lot of the startup founders here would be like, hey, how come this guy's blah, blah, blah? I work harder than this, blah, 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 blah. And I now understand hindsight being 2020 as well, because the reason why they're front and center, not just because they're really good. They're really good founders. Paul's one of the best in fundraising. Dexter, one of the best product guys you can ever find. And they're now very, very good friends. At one point, I had ingete.
Yep.
I looked to them, but like, man, nainggit ako. Like, why? I don't understand. Right? But the reason why they reflect in every single generation of startup, there will be a marquee startup that a VC would need to put to show that they actually think they bet on one of the best companies. Because they need to show that to their limited investors who are technically investors in the fund that, see, check out the investee that I have. So totally gets. But the other thing is that what I realized after becoming really good friends with them, we went through the same shit. Anyways, probably worse pa nga sa kanila because Kalibrr had multiple times of near-death experiences, massive cut downs that they almost had to let go of their whole team multiple times over. And what did it do? It made them humbler. And it forced them to then operate their business not in the VC model. The VCs hated it, but they turned it into a profitable Chinoy-like run business. Na cash basis, MRR, and it's now built to last. They've never been healthier this time. Because they abandoned what a VC model would be. Because all of a sudden, after all those near-death experiences, they were already ready to become a sustainable business anyway. And I always give my flowers to not just Paul, Kalibrr, to Tom, and everybody who's worked in Kalibrr. Because 4 startups, every single startup that I've created, I built an amazing team because of Kalibrr. All my best hires. I have guys who are with me 10 years in, 6 years in, 7 years in, 8 years in. Lahat yan galing Kalibrr. So yeah,
galing.
I'll send you the invoice, Paul. Just kidding. No, but it's amazing. And that's what I want to ask you before we take our first break. Again, I was on the outside looking in, and every once in a while, when I talk to those guys, I just learn so much. I love how humble they are. How generous they are with their time. But what did you
Yep.
learn, and how did Kalibrr change your perspective? Because you eventually took your plunge to become a founder right away after experiencing that. What did it leave you, and what did you learn that allowed you to take that plunge?
Okay. So, as mentioned, when I was born into a very okay family, right?
Mm.
With money, walang masyadong pressure at the
Yep.
end of the day. And I was born with I have to admit, with a certain elitist mindset.
Yep.
That I was okay. I'm Jake. I was born into a family like this. I have my credentials like this.
Mhm.
I only want to work. I only want to do the work that's what I think is of me.
Correct.
Right. That's it. At that time when I was an intern, syempre an intern, diba? So
Mm.
I did everything. I did everything. So I applied for a web designer or a graphic designer. Again, I forget. That was like 10 years ago. For that particular role. And I was supposed to be doing just that work. So ngayon, there's a lot of people na, okay, magbibilang ako, this is my scope of the work. I don't want to do anything else
Right.
outside of that. At that time, being an intern, a part of me wanted that siguro. I did everything. Part of it was sometimes even coming in on a Sunday, cleaning the office
Wow.
because the help wasn't there. Part of it was picking up a client using my car, using my own gas. Didn't charge the company because I had my vested interest in that company. Right at that time. So I wanted to go all in. And at that time, at a very young age, parang, again, like I said, everything was quote unquote given to me. So parang I didn't earn any of this shit.
Yeah.
When I was with Kalibrr, I felt that I earned the role. So I was an intern, eventually became a full-time employee. I felt that if you invest yourself in that particular, whether it's a job, whether it's a hobby, it will give something back to you one way or the other. And I've applied that across the board to my kids, to my family, to my new company, to the startups that I invested in, to the companies that I joined afterwards, to the friends that I made, to the mentors that I have. I gave everything, left nothing on the table, left nothing on the ring, pretty much. One way or the other will gives you back something.
Correct.
Right? It might not be money, right? So majority of the founders are looking at the bottom line all the time, like profit, net profit, everything. But it might not be money that that person or that stakeholder or whoever will give back to you. And knowing that, it's easier for me to like choose what kind of avenue I want to go through. If I'm presented with a choice, which one will I invest my everything into? And it becomes an easier choice. Right? Tom taught me that.
Amazing.
Specifically. So
that's the beauty of having an amazing mentor early in your career. Just really changes the whole trajectory and how you even look at life and everything else in between. Now let's take our first break, and when we come back, we will not continue, of course, the journey at Springboard and also how he became Sir Jake, Prop Jake in Salle, because he didn't stop just becoming an entrepreneur. He paid it forward. And he's still a professor now and teaching the young generation to become great people and great citizens. But let's talk about that more after the break. Hey hustlers, are you a busy entrepreneur juggling a ton of tasks while trying to keep your finances in check? Thinking of raising money from investors or lenders but have no idea how to start? Well, you are not alone. Managing business finances is tough. But don't worry, I got something for you. Introducing One CFO, the leading fractional CFO service and technology provider for SMEs, startups, and scale-ups in the Philippines. Whether you need help with financial management, fundraising strategy, or scaling up operations, their team of top-tier CFOs and their game-changing CFO tech platform have got you covered. And they're legit because I've heard about them from a lot of YC startups actually that got founded in the Philippines, because they've helped a ton of VC-backed startups, scale-ups, and some of the best SMEs in the country reach new heights. One CFO is your strategic financial partner, providing the insights, guidance, and the tools you need to make smarter decisions and drive growth. Plus, they offer personalized support tailored to what your business needs, no matter the size. And what's the best part? It won't break the bank. One CFO services are affordable and accessible to businesses of all sizes. So if you're ready to level up your business and finances, what are you waiting for? Schedule a free CFO consultation with One CFO. Visit onecfoph.co today. That's onecfoph.co today to get your free CFO consultation. And we're back from the break. We are still with Jake Go. Then told us the amazing origin story. And I love the candor and the transparency you did, because every single startup founder, it makes me cringe sometimes when like, man, come on, you just gotta come clean. We went through shit too.
Yeah.
And that's why, if you ask me, what I like having in Hustleshare, it's not about the if. Everybody will eventually get here. It's a when. Because if you're coming in too soon and a first time founder, you're still eyes wide open, like you think everything's gonna be nice, bruh. Until you taste your own blood, and until you experience near death, with your startup, we don't have great cuento to share out here.
Yep. Yes. Yes. I
You have
agree.
to have brutality in your life to actually share, because that's where it humbles you. That when it becomes real. That's what real entrepreneurship is. Because those people who are in the social media, who want to dress old money, who think entrepreneurship is just working hard and all that, those are bullshitters. The real entrepreneurs, as they become more successful, the path towards that is usually painful and filled with failure. And usually they're more humble. They become more humble. It's inevitable. Those people who are still fronting and think that they're all that, haven't really understood what entrepreneurship is. And that's what I want to understand. So, Jake, you took the plunge right away. After Kalibrr, founder agad. And you mentioned that, again, 6 months in or just a few months in, you were able to ROI agad. But I'm pretty sure you went through shit. What were those very early few struggles I remember going through, and what did that teach you?
Okay, so I have two very distinct stories from that said question. So first one, at a very young age, I started the company, 23, and hanggang ngayon, you have to admit, baby face pa rin.
Oh nga, sorry
Right?
na, we're probably the same age. I look 10 years younger than you. It's fucking unfair. Okay.
Yeah, so that was, ironically, that was one of the challenges. No, so parang,
Baby
okay,
face.
you go into a meeting, a boardroom, right? So for example, you're pitching your service, you're pitching against a couple of competitors in big BPOs, big conglomerates, and you're the only one there that is very young.
At least looks young.
Itsura na nga saka yung experience pa, very young. Right? So, ang bala ko ever since at that time was transparency. But before we get to that, before we get to the nice part of the story, again, the challenge was people seeing you as inexperienced. People seeing you as someone who doesn't belong to the table. Right? Looking from the outside in, if you see the table and you see all these big titans on the table, once you sit down with them, honestly, and you start talking, they're not all that.
No.
Right? I learned that also from the guys at Kalibrr.
Yep.
So going back to those stories with Paul and with Dexter, at that time, especially with Tom, at that time, Tom would always bring me to certain meetings. And I was always saying to him, like, Tom, intern lang ako. Tom, I'm just an entry-level developer. Why would you bring me? Right? And he was very inclusive at that time. Parang, no. I'm looking to nurture you and turn you into something more. Yun yung gusto mo, diba? Because I told him my vision. I told him what I wanted. I told him what my purpose was. Sabi niya, you wanted to do this. You wanted to get exposed. You wanted to develop your English. You wanted to develop your social battery and become a little bit more resilient, diba?
Yeah.
So I'm a proud introvert. So, pero yun nga, so parang sabi niya, you need to be able to develop that for you to be able to sell your service. Right? And dapat magkaroon ka ng konting yabang.
Yeah.
Right? Hindi hangin eh. Yabang.
Yeah.
Enough confidence for you to be part of that table. And once you're on once you're in that table, once you're on that table speaking to all of these guys, they're not all that. We're all just the same people at the end of the day. Right? Sometimes may mga mas matanda sa'yo pero hindi nila maintindihan kung pinagsasabi nila. Right? Pero they have the clout, they have the connects, they have the everything is built through those.
Correct.
Sa akin, what I tried to do at that time was really just build something that's stackable, that's undeniable, because this is my knowledge. This is something that you can take away from me.
Yeah.
I studied the market, I researched about it, I knew the service that you wanted, etc. And at that time, being part of that table was already a big plus. And winning the competition, and winning the deal pretty much, or the bidding war, is going to be something else at that very young age.
Yeah.
And 2, 3 years down the line, we managed to close a lot of like the big ones and big
Wow.
contracts nung time na yun. So it was a very proud time, but it was a challenge that school never taught me. It was a challenge that it was a hump that I had to go through.
Yeah.
Hindi mo siya matuturo eh. Like
Nope.
even if you teach it in theory, you won't be able to understand the feeling once you're there.
Nope.
Right? So that's the first story.
Mm.
The second story is so fast forward in the recent years, I've stumbled upon a couple of government initiatives.
Mm.
Right? So government initiatives naman or government projects, it's a different kind of ball game also.
Yep.
Right? So you tend to understand a lot more of these government officials once you're in the space. And they're not all bad. Because
No.
people, when they paint a picture, it's politician yan, buhaya yan, or something like that, right?
Mm.
But when you try to like sift through and navigate through, because again, the guys at Kalibrr taught me how to like look at people, right, and see if they're similar to you. You know front and center pag nandyan siya, if it's bullshit or not.
Yep.
Right? And I took that learning and tried to apply it in the Philippine public service setting and public sector setting. It kind of worked also,
Right.
right? But it's a different kind of ball game, right? So sales cycle are longer, payables
Yeah.
are longer, etc., etc. But what I understood from that point on is you really need the government, whether it's national, whether it's local, whether it's an agency, to help your company grow, especially if it's something that is of service to the country.
Yeah.
Right. So if napansin mo, majority of the services or majority of the portfolio companies that Springboard is part of, there's one way or the other serving the Filipino people and people talaga, whether it's staffing, whether it's OFW. Because you mentioned to me, you reached out to me because you saw one of the startups or one of the companies that we were also involved in, which is Speed Regalo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Speed Regalo naman, just to sprinkle it a little bit, is basically a corporate gifting platform. Right. So right now, Q3, Q4, we're shifting it into a gift basket. Pero originally, gift basket platform. Pero originally, it's a gifting platform across the board, B2B gifting platform. Right. So ang main focus nun, ang differentiator nun is we focused on OFWs.
Got it.
With that being said, Duty Free saw us and how we are with the OFWs. That's why Duty Free tapped us
Galing.
to be able to help them with that aspect of their online component.
There you go.
So,
para hindi napapanis yung Toblerone.
Exactly. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That only Toblerone that they pedal around when you land in Terminal 1. My God, Toblerone Fest in Cadbury.
Grabe. And you have to be honest. I have to be honest also. The duty free that we have here in the Philippines is light years, very far from the duty frees of the Singapore, Taiwan,
Hong
and everything.
Kong.
So Hong Kong. So hopefully Speed Regalo can help them out and try to like develop that into something a little bit more modern also. No? So we're incorporating a lot of components there. We're helping them out, working hand in hand with government. But as I mentioned, it's a different kind of challenge, right?
Yeah.
That we welcome naman. That we welcome naman.
No, and again, it serves the Filipino people because these are actually good stuff. We're probably the same age. I'm 37. You're probably in the same. Oh yeah.
Same.
Dragons. There you go.
Dragon. Yeah.
So, dude, this is part of our childhood. Dude, it's a big thing whenever there's a balikbayan before that would come through and it has their pasalubong coming from duty free, right? And to bring that back, that glory days of what duty free and that bag looked like before, super duper
Yes,
solid.
sir.
But I want to go deep into Springboard real quick. And correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
Are you a solo founder here when you started out?
So I started out with a partner.
Okay.
Then eventually, so that's part of the lessons also,
Okay.
actually. So at that time, my co-founder his name was Tristan Ong.
Okay.
He was a high school best friend.
Okay.
At that time, I wanted to go in because I wanted to have a partner. Because you know, of all people, you know how hard it is to be a solo founder, right?
Nako, grabe.
So-
Okay.
At that time, my real reason was, sabi ko sa kanya, pare, you know I'm an introvert. I need someone who can do the sales. I'll feed you everything. Just go out and do the sales. right? So he did that. He did that for a few years. He did that first couple of years. Then eventually, yung interest niya, just, kumbaga, we went on different
You
paths
outgrew
along
each
the way.
other.
We outgrew each other. So everything is okay. So there's nothing wrong with the relationship. It was just, okay, I really wanted to reorient myself and refocus myself to something else. So parang sabi niya, okay, eventually after 8, 9 years, sabi niya, okay, Jake, I think I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Right? This is my rate. This is the amount of shares that I have. Buy me out. Like, okay, deal. So from that point on, we parted ways. Okay naman kami noong time na yun. So okay pa rin naman kami ngayon.
Yeah.
Pero we parted ways, which is very rare, right?
Correct. Majority of the time,
cleanly.
it implodes.
It's messy.
Oh
It's
my
messy.
God,
It's
I've
messy.
seen this. And again,
But-
when you're
Yeah.
stuck with a bad major shareholder, it's worse than marriage. I've been part of that where, oh my God, I just want out, but I can't. I don't have the money to buy you out, blah, blah, blah. You're fucked.
You're stuck.
Yeah. No, but I want to understand now from that point of view, because obviously you then, after for Tristan left, you then had to take on and any type of journey where you're gonna have to go solo, whether it started out that where you're solo and you found people to join you along the way, or like this, you went with him and then all of a sudden it's a totally different and such a daunting task for all the chips to be, or all the bucks that will just stop with you. And I know this because my first 2 startups were solo founder startups. I had part-time co-founders, but it's different when you're going to war. Back to back kayo.
Correct.
Right? Your co-founder should be in the arena, not watching from the stands. That's what a real co-founder is. But when you now went solo, how did you change as a founder and how did you grow that way? And luckily, stable na si Springboard at that time, right? But pretty sure there was still change. What was that like?
Okay, so I have to correct you there. I wasn't, hindi ako nag-solo after that. Because luckily at that time, I had my wife.
The real life co-founder. There you go. The real bossing.
Exactly. Yep. But I have to attest the dynamics change very much.
For sure.
Because ngayon, at the end of the day, when Tristan and I, pantay kami, right?
Okay.
Ngayon, marriage, pantay pa rin naman. Pero
it goes to the bedroom.
Yes. It goes home with you.
Oh,
it goes home with you, pare. Goes home with you. Now, your work was originally 24/7 already. Because you go home, you work your ass off for your startup. Now, you have it in the bedroom also. Like what you said. Exactly. Because my wife is part of the company also. So at that time when we were talking about separating with Tristan, we were also getting married na.
Okay.
Tapos parang sabi namin, okay, sige, pasok na lang si wife. Or her name is Anthea. Tapos she would handle the finances. Because ako, like I said, like what I tell my friends, if I handle the money, it will all go away. Right? So, mahanapan ko ng justification yan to invest in marketing, to invest in whatever, etc. So there's always a reason for us to spend money, right? To scale, right? So we always had that mindset. So when my wife came in, she sprinkled a lot of frugality into the company.
Nice.
So, frugality in terms of, pag magkukotse ka, mag-grab ka na lang. Pag mag-grab ka, dapat ganito yung kunin mo. Wag na yung mahal na grab. Pag mag-aeroplano ka, wag ka na mag-business class. Sa economy ka na lang. Malapit lang naman yung biyahe mo eh. Parang yung mga ganun. And these are very valuable insights or like suggestions at that time that, siyempre hindi ako sanay eh. Again, coming from my background, hindi ako sanay sa certain level of frugality. So we were always arguing about that.
Wow.
Parang, which also goes at home, goes into the bedroom, etc. These are the small stuff, right? These are not even the business critical decisions. But anyway, it taught me also something. Na parang frugality goes a long way because siguro the past couple of years, I was looking at the financials of Springboard, and I was like, how the hell did we earn this much this year? Because ito yung year na nabawasan pa tayo ng kliyente. I was talking to my wife, nabawasan pa tayo ng kliyente, dumami tayo ng tao, and we were churning certain clients. Right? So at that time, the sales cycle was very long because we were selling staffing for software.
Yeah.
So ang tagal nung sales cycle also. Tapos parang yung year na yun, I was expecting it to be a down year.
Yep.
So by December, I was already very down in the dumps. I didn't want to celebrate. I didn't want to go out of the country. I didn't want to
Right.
whatever, right? And she was like, "Oh, let's go out. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's go to this. Let's go to that." Like, di wala tayong pera. It's down year tayo din. It's not lugi, pero it's not a
It's
big
not in the
year.
red.
Yeah, it's not in the red, pero it's not like it's in the black barely. Parang ganon nung time na yun. I don't want to spend too much, blah blah blah. And she was like, she pulled out all the numbers that she had. Like, what the fuck? Mas malaki pa yung kinita natin this year kaysa last year. Last year, parang I was like, konti na lang mamatay na ako. So sobrang daming like stuff that we were doing. And the year after that, we were like toning it down and everything. Because sabi ko, I can't do this. I can't scale this if it's always going to be like this. Right? Yeah. There's always that mindset in the early days of the startup, like hustle or die or whatever, right? It's always, you wear it as a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Like you don't sleep, you work your ass off, etc. Yep. And now, as you get older, you realize that it's definitely a marathon. It's not a sprint, right? No. You have to last longer for you to actually build it better. Build an empire from that point. So again, going back to that story, I'm like, holy shit, we earned a lot more compared to last year. Okay, fuck that shit. Let's go to this. Let's go to that. Let's have a baby. I'm like.
Wow.
I'm like, bro, I'm sold. You're the new CFO.
No, but I learned this the hard way, but it almost cost us our life in PNA because obviously before we were a venture play and still is. I still have the same VCs. But when we forced to optimize for sustainability, the whole mindset changed. Now, all of a sudden, I feel like I'm going 1,000 miles per hour. Fuck everything else that I'm gonna hit. It's going to cost us a lot of money. I don't really care much about the P&L and how much in the red, but I can show you how much we grew and
we're growing.
That nobody else can keep up. But you're right. This is a marathon. And the key in a marathon is not to be not just the fastest. The first key in a race is to finish the fucking race.
Yep. Amen.
Because if you run out of gas or you bonk somewhere along the way, I don't care how fast you went into a certain leg, but you didn't even finish, wala. You're still zero. You didn't even make the finish line. Business, I realized, and this is credits to my Chinoy co-founder, Mike Tan. Jan Michael Tan. Dude, first few years of BNA, my God, we fought like hell. We're completely polar opposites. Because he operated like a Chinoy. Like, hey, why is your shit out of whack? Why are you burning so much cash? For me, no, let's grow. I don't give a fuck. Let's go. And then eventually we came into the same page, and now it's so weird. We're almost on the same page every single time.
There you
because he won. He's right. And if we're ever gonna get through the promised land, which is at least the finish line, there's several fundamentals in business. Number one, obviously, there's only two ways to get to the finish line. And the best way is to make them both happen. Number one, you close more sales. All right? And retain a lot of what you close. And number two,
sales cure all talaga, no?
Yep. Amen, Mark Cuban. There you go. And second, be frugal. Be very, very frugal. And it's the little things. It's the little business class. It's the pakain. It's the fucking team building. It's that fucking studio that you need or you don't need. You have to look at it line by line by line. And you have to work to a number where, okay, because this is where we had. We were running out of runway for a very long time. Dude, our runway was 0.5 months or 1 month. We were one mistake away from
Holy
dying.
shit.
For 3 years, bro.
Holy shit.
So we are the biggest EPs in town. So sorry, we are not the unicorn in the startup ecosystem, but we will never die. Okay, we are the biggest EPs in town. Okay, but what I'm proud of is yes, we did some cuts. Everybody had to make some cuts. But after I did one major cut, I didn't do it again. We really right-sized. But what it took to right size, and this is what I want to share with everybody, is that when you make a cut, make sure that when you make a cut, it's enough for you to still finish the race. You still need to win. It's one step back to have 2, 3, 4, 5 steps forward. And you should be able to quantify what it would be like to get in the black comfortably. Cash flow,
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
not fake profit. Like cash flow, we
Yep.
work cash flow basis. We started changing the way we even look at our financials. That I don't give a fuck about everything else. All I care about is cash flow. Chinoy na chinoy, bro.
Yep. Yes.
We were
Yes.
super chinoy. Okay. And dude, that's exactly why we're still here. And that's why we're better
Mhm.
off now. Because now I can quantify how many clients I need to talk to. When does it need to come in? The cash needs to come in. What do I need to do for us to keep going on this journey? And now the
Yep.
finish line, I see it. I see the finish line because that's what it takes. And it's literally a frugality. So if she is the pull, you've always been the push. But when you
Yep.
meet that equilibrium, that's when magic happens. So
It's
totally
magic.
understand.
It's magic.
Yep.
Yep.
Galing. And you even made the baby after.
And now we
What?
have three. Now we have three.
So
Now we
3
have
straight
three.
years of amazing amazing magic pala. Whenever there's
Yep.
magic, a baby comes out. Okay. Now, but bro, again, super duper exciting. Now I understand why Springboard is going to be here to stay. But I'm really, really also curious about you becoming a professor.
Sure.
Because, dude, I love mentoring, but I will
Mhm.
never do that in a fucking classroom. Fuck that shit.
Mhm.
I'm not
Oh.
that guy because number one, I can never control my mouth. I will say all the cuss words and all that, and I'm not gonna be the best role model. I'm not gonna wear the uniform that you motherfuckers would come up. Not me. I can mentor. I cannot teach in a classroom. Why did you decide to become a professor, and what's the satisfaction that you get becoming a professor?
Okay, so the professor thing was a very selfish. People will think initially, and kumbaga, I can brand it like, okay, I want to pay it forward, which I do. I want to. I want to be able to like
Mhm.
learn from the next generation also and teach my wisdom to them.
Mhm.
But originally, it was a very selfish reason.
Mm.
And the selfish reason at that time is I think the most challenge because I've spoken in public setting. I've spoken in conferences, I've
Yep.
spoken in small groups, big groups, I've spoken in podcasts like these.
Mhm.
But I feel that the next challenge that I had was speaking to students,
The next generation.
the next generation. And it's not even that. I think from the stories that I've heard from a couple of my friends who are already teaching at that time.
Mm.
Sabi niya, pare, pinakamahirap na turuan is yung mga students talaga. Pinakamahirap na when you're standing there and speaking,
Yeah.
pinakamahirap estudyante. Sabi ko, bakit? Kasi marami diyang, may ilang nakikinig, may ilang tulog, may ilang labas-pasok, etc. They don't care. So
Yeah.
when you go to a conference, for example, when you go to a conference, people pay to see you. Or at
Yeah.
least people pay to see someone else, right?
Correct.
And you can be the opening act, right? But people will still listen.
Mhm.
In a school setting or in a classroom setting, there's a certain level of challenge where you have to make sure your content is engaging
Mm.
for you to catch their attention,
Mhm.
right? Most of the students that
Mm.
I've encountered, kasi electives yung mga courses
Subjects.
ko eh. Subjects, yeah. Sometimes, si Sir Jake chill yan. Sige, doon tayo. Tapos matutulog lang. Tapos they'll breeze through the homework, they'll breeze through the presentations, they'll breeze through the assignments, etc. So, totoo naman, chill naman ako. I don't require them to do a lot of paperwork, do a lot of I require them to do a lot of presentations. Pero like, marami nagtatanong, sir, paano yung format? Sir, ilang words? Sir, ilang pages? I'm like, fuck that shit. I don't care about those.
Especially
I
with
don't care about
ChatGPT
those.
now. What the hell?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And majority of them would try to, sabi ko rin sa kanila, I don't fucking care if you use ChatGPT. I don't fucking care whatever tool you use. As long as when I talk to you, I want to have like an engaging discussion that I know you cared about. Right? So when I started teaching, that was like 7 years ago. 6 years ago ish. Wala pang ChatGPT nun eh. So it was easier. Now the landscape is changing. And even the professors, even the school is trying to catch up and trying to not really police, but more of how do we really try to work hand in hand with AI, with ChatGPT and all these like other tools, no? Because majority of them are exploiting it to just produce and produce and produce.
Correct.
And that at that time when professors like, okay, ang dami kong pa-output sa'yo, ang dami kong papel sa'yo, and I rate them using quantity over quality, it's different. Right? So you can gamify it. But
Correct.
now, if the professor can't catch up, ikaw yung magi-gamify. Ikaw yung
Correct.
lalaruin ng student.
You're the one who's catching up.
You're getting played also, right? So that's the hard part. So now, sabi ko, when I go into a new term, I always tell my students, hey, these are my house rules. You can use all the technology you want. You can use ChatGPT. I'm gonna require you less papers, less presentations. But all I want to do is have like a decent discussion with you, and for you to have your own contextual spin to it. So we all have our individual backgrounds. We all have our individual experiences, right? We see AI as we see all these stuff, whatever lesson that may be, on a certain lens. But if you sprinkle your own experiences to it, you will always have your very own, very unique, specific wisdom that you can share to the class. So I try to just force them to recite, force them to like talk in class. And some of them like hate it. Kasi syempre, some introvert like chills si Sir Jake. Tapos pagpasok, like, bakit ang daming recitation? Parang ganun.
I thought I was going to sleep today. What the hell?
Exactly. So it's a very, I guess, very unique spin to it compared to the traditional professorship at siguro at our time, no?
Yeah.
And part of me, dito ko rin na feel ko kinakarma ako. Alam mo yun? Because parang,
you went through the motions before.
I went through the motions. Going back to the origin story that we were saying, like I was the lazy fuck. I was the guy sleeping in front. I didn't care about the professor. I didn't care about this. And it happens to me now.
That's why I don't want to teach. Because I was also a terrible student.
But pare, it gives you perspective.
Yeah, totally.
Gives you perspective. Life came full circle at that time. Like, okay, I know how to do this. I can't really blame them as much. Pero hindi ko, yung tipong dati binabatuhan ka ng eraser.
Yep.
Ngayon wala na eh. Bawal na yun eh. Di ba?
Cancelled. You're cancelled. Yeah.
Pero now you get to talk to them properly. Like, hey, what's wrong with you? Do you have like any problems? Can I help you with? Blah, blah, blah. So it's a much more engaging kind of thing. And from that point on, every class for the past 7 years, every class that I've taught, there's at least 1, 2, 3 students from every class that would, Sir Jake, can you mentor me? Sir Jake, can you ganyan? And every time I hear those stories or hear those requests, parang nakakataba siya ng puso because the guys from Kalibrr did that to me. And now, although again, like I said, malayo na, pero malayo pa, I can finally share my wisdom to the people who appreciate it.
Yes.
Right. So, yun.
That's amazing.
That's it.
And that's how you know you're making an impact because the same ratio. So I just don't do it in a classroom. Whenever I do not just a talk, whenever I do a podcast, every single episode, I pray and I hope na sana man lang at least one gets inspired to take action, whatever that might be. It doesn't have to be me. I don't care about you reaching out. But say, for example, somebody reached out because they were touched by somebody else's story. That's where this medium becomes powerful. Because it's not about me. My job is to get the best stories out, immortalize it, so that when my life is said and done, we have this whole amazing catalog of amazing founders and entrepreneurs that we've had here. Pero the reason why I do it is because I want to pay it forward, not just because I want to. My mentor, Joji Azrin, told me to do it. And this is his legacy that I'm just continuing on. But again, if I'm able to help bridge that gap, now somebody wanted to be a mentee pala of a Jake or whoever founder, this is that extra bridge. And if I'm able to do that, game lang, I'm gonna keep doing this till I die, bro. So that's what it is. Okay, now let's take our last break, and when we come back, we will now talk about the leadership lessons of doing Springboard PH, and obviously what's next for Springboard. Well, let's talk about that more after the break.
Hey hustlers, before we resume the episode, let me tell you a very quick secret. Do you guys ever wonder how we're able to consistently release episode after episode here in Hustleshare without missing a date over the past 3 years? Well, it's not just pure hustle, because I'm also running my podcast along with me running my startup full time. Now, for some of you who have listened to this podcast, you guys very well know that I created a startup that is designed to help the best podcasters in Southeast Asia to realize their full potential, which is called Podcast Network Asia. And over the past couple of years, we've achieved quite a lot in P&A, helping hundreds of podcasters create world-class episodes consistently. However, what we realize is that we are not really solving the real problem of all podcasters in the world if we're not going to productize the thing that we're very good at, which is helping podcasters solve the two main pain points of a podcaster, which is number one, nobody really likes to edit their own show, especially if you're listening to your own voice. Just like me, I cringe a lot. Having to listen to my voice for 3 to 4 hours just to release a 1 hour episode. It's no fun. And then the other thing is that most podcasters, just like me, are absolutely clueless on how to properly grow their show, which is something that we have perfected in Podcast Network Asia. So we've decided to put this all in one product that helps any podcaster in the world create world-class shows that people will love and will continuously grow. And that's why we created PodMachine. PodMachine is the most affordable podcast subscription service that helps you with your podcasting needs. We've got everything from audio production, crafting designs, and marketing and growth support. So as a podcaster, you can now just focus on the thing that matters the most, creating great content for your listeners. So, if you are an existing podcaster or someone that actually wants to create their podcast now, no need to worry. You got a founder's discount by listening here on Hustleshare. So sign up now at podmachine.com. And aside from the free trial that you're going to get as a new user, I'm throwing in another one free edit as soon as you sign up for just as low as $49.99 USD a month to start creating a consistent and world-class podcast. Again, that's podmachine.com and use the code Hustleshare to get your founder discount. So if you have friends that are podcasters and if you want to have a podcast just like this, y'all know what to do. So just go and talk to you guys in PodMachine.
And we're back from the break. We are still with Jikko that told us an amazing journey of how he grew Springboard profitably through the woman that holds the purse. Never ever hold the purse. If you like to make it rain, don't hold the purse. Keep it as far away from you with the most frugal person that you know. And then obviously I love the story about you becoming a professor. But all of these things come full circle. You know, whether you're again doing this to pay it forward, to be selfish in terms of being able to really give back to the next generation, or becoming a hustler and doing the thrill of the chase. But in every single thing we do, similarly, I do that through the podcast and also what I do in P&A. Whatever we learn there makes us better as a leader. And that's what I want to understand from your point of view, Jake. Through the years, how did you evolve as a leader? Because like for me, I'll come clean muna ha.
Sure.
Me, I always led with my heart before. Still now. Pero I did not have poise. It was always too raw. So you'll see when I'm angry, I'll fucking probably snap. If I'm happy, I'm super happy. When I'm down, super down. It was always polarized. And I took everyone around me along with that fucking crazy roller coaster ride of entrepreneurship. It was too raw. Through the years and through a lot of painful mistakes, losing several talented people, I learned how to become even keeled. And literally, I even have this thing that I literally teach my guys, whoever I work with, the Stanford Duck Syndrome, which is in Stanford, there's this thing that, you know, the Stanford student, they look like they're calm and collected when they're studying around campus, but they're paddling like crazy underneath the water. There's poise and you're even keeled. When you get too high, you don't get too high. Because, you know, right around the corner, there's going to be a lot of fuck-uppery again. And when you get down, you don't get too down. You know, better days are ahead. And you don't take everyone along with you for that emotional roller coaster ride. It still happens in my head. But if you look at me now, chill lang. Steady.
Chill lang.
There you go.
Poise. There's poise.
Yes, poise. Those are the things that I learned. But what about you? I want to understand what those leadership lessons that you've learned along the way, that how did that teach you also to become a better person?
Okay, so for me at a very young age, again, I started Springboard. I think we have the same sentiments or the same path when we were starting out. Everything was very raw. Everything was very emotional.
Yep.
Because it was the passion. Diba?
Yeah.
It was the passion of running your own ship,
Yep.
pretty much. And like you'd think one wrong mistake can just sink the ship,
Correct.
right? So at a very early stage, you would think your company that you're building is not durable enough.
Mhm.
Also, same time, when I was starting out, I was a people pleaser. Right?
Yeah.
So I was a people pleaser. Whenever I hire someone, sige, how much yung salary mo? Ano yung incentives na gusto mo? Etc. etc. I would give them everything.
Oh my God.
Tapos sasabihin ko sa kanila na, as long as you perform. But they haven't proven anything yet. Right? And they would just say yes. Sige sir, gawin ko yan, kaya yan, blah, blah. And you don't know how to skim through the bullshit at that time.
Right.
And pag nagalit ako, same as you, I would snap. I would throw things around. I would
WWE style.
Exactly. And we grew up at that season. We grew up at that stage, right? So, kung pwede lang i-suplex at i-powerbomb yung tao sa table mo para instead of firing that person, better, right? Tapos na yung usapan.
Through the table.
Through the table. Through the ladder, even, right? So, stuff like that. But yeah, so as the years went by, especially when you work with certain stakeholders also, no? Tama yung sinabi mo eh. You need to have a certain level of voice. You need to be able to control your emotions. There's a couple of people who would always like bulong or whisper to me that say, weaponize your emotions. Weaponize the other people's emotions. I'm like, okay, I know that's a strategy. I know that's something that you could, but you're doing it with malice.
Correct.
Sa akin, everything that I do, sometimes not too transparent, pero I work with the transparency in my heart also. Right? If I don't like you, hindi ko naman sasabihin na I don't like you up front, pero you'll know.
Correct.
Na parang, I don't think we're gonna work well together, etc. Stuff like that. Nowadays, in terms of the leadership role, what I try to do is be firm. And I learned that people, especially the young ones, the junior ones, actually long for that structure. Kasi maraming nagsasabi, kasi nung time that we were starting out in the startup scene, parang, we were very happy that we had free lunches, flexible time schedules, work from home before it was uso, before it was like all the rave because of COVID. There were all the perks. We were copying the Silicon Valley model.
Yeah.
Now I realize that majority of the juniors that I work with, right, the mentees that I work with, they long for the structure. Right? And as long as you show them that you're decisive, you're firm, even if you make mistakes from those decisions, as long as you be accountable from them, they'll respect you.
Yep.
Doon mo rin makikita kung who can deliver for you. Because merong mga high performers pero sobrang toxic.
Yes.
Merong mga medium-low performers, similar to how Simon Sinek mentioned, diba?
Right.
But trusting-wise, you're okay. Right? So you try to balance those out. And once you do, it's better, right? At the end of the day. So the management of people gets easier.
Yeah.
Right. You get to filter it out automatically also. Right. Once you have that firm hand, once you hold them accountable to the stuff that they do, and don't people please. Just when you call them out, again, you call them out in private, you praise them in public.
Yun.
Right? So parang ganon, diba? So
dude, it's all Mr. McMahon's fault kasi before eh.
Yep.
Yes. Kiss my ass. These are just like, man, this is wrong. But yeah, totally agree. And for me, I always look at the big picture now too. Now, okay, if I do this, what will be the extreme consequences? Not just with the people that I will probably scold, but what message am I sending with everybody else? Diba? Now, you don't want that to be the thing. But I want to understand, because also you don't just do this for yourselves now. The main business of what you guys do in obviously Springboard is to source the best talent.
Exactly.
Now we're not just all only talking about credentials, right? You do this for a living, and you place this for everybody else that relies on you as a company to get the right fit, the right hire. And it's not about talent lang. There's a lot of factors that come in. But how do you find the people that you'd want to, put in a job that would be a fit? Because that's not just a science, it's also an art.
So before I answer that question, this is the first baby coming from that frugality.
Hello!
Say hi.
Baby number one. Hello. He doesn't care. Nonchalant. Nonchalant. Okay.
Nasobrahan sa poise. Nasobrahan naman sa poise. Nasobrahan sa
Okay.
poise. But yeah, to answer your question, especially in the age of AI, sa amin, you just have to care, right? So there's a lot of like, for example, like Kalibrr, right? So there's a job portal, JobStreet, there's JobsDB, there's all these job platforms out there. There's all these like staffing agencies out there. For us, it's not nothing super innovative, especially in this day and age. But we just similar to you, we just lead by heart. So ang nangyayari dyan, basically, every interview goes through a recruiter pa rin through us, right? So there's a lot of like technologies out there that will automate stuff that would say, na, okay, once you do this, you don't have to go through a recruiter, you don't have to go through this. Automatically, it matches you with what you need. What your needs are. So what we try to do is we screen every single person pa rin. We take the time to interview them. We take the time to really get to know them. We just want to know their purpose also and try to match that to the companies that we work with. So there are companies also on the other side of the table naman na parang, oh, basta ito yung role, this is what I need. First year, 1 year, 2 year graduate college, ito yung course, ito yung ganyan. I need him or her to be living 500 meters close by to the office, etc. These are all quantifiable, measurable numbers. But sabi ko, whenever I ask one of my account managers or my pre-sales guys, talk to the client, and sasabihin nila, sir, ito lang yung binigay eh. They don't want to meet up anymore. Sabihin ko sa kanila, oh, don't get the client anymore. Don't get the client anymore. Kasi no matter how we take care of the people on the other side of the table, the talent, when we throw it to them, if they see them just as numbers,
patay.
Hindi magtatagal talaga yan.
Correct.
Hindi magtatagal talaga yan. If the company on the other side, if the talent cares enough and the company doesn't, it's gonna be a mismatch.
Correct.
But if the talent cares enough and the company also cares, bro, magic happens.
That's amazing.
Magic happens. That's why we pride ourselves with very low attrition also.
And that's what I love, because again, you first of all, your lifespan speaks for how much product market fit you've done. Because you won't go this long if you didn't figure it out, right?
Amen.
There's only so much beating a founder can take. So you have figured it out, and you guys are going to be here to stay for sure. But last question before I let you go. And this is very, very specific, similar to, in consideration to the path you took. And this is for me, in the Philippines, if you're a local Filipino person that wants to become a founder, I believe that the best way to become a founder here is not to be a founder right away. You need to do your MBA in a startup. Because that's when you fully understand. Again, you get to do every fucking shit. You leave your own ego at the door. That's founder level stuff. But you're being paid a salary. It's not yet you. And that's what I want to ask. Like, for those people who are on the precipice or who are interested to become a founder down the road and put up their own startup, but don't know where to start. Like, for example, they want to consider working in one of these high growth startups to become a founder. What would be your advice for people who want to follow the same path that you took?
Okay. So this happens a lot in school, no? So, especially to the students that I teach, marami nagtatanong, like, sir, how can I break into the technology world? How can I break into the startup world, startup scene? Like, my first recommendation would be to go to Kickstart Straight to Fridge.
Yan.
Right? So that's the first one. My second one, if you have an idea, is you incubate yourselves with the likes of Launch Garage, QBO, etc. Right? Idea space. The third one is, for example, if you don't have an idea yet and you don't want to go through the motions of coming up with one, kumbaga forcing yourself into one.
Correct.
Look at the list. Look at the list of either international or local list of startups. Correct. Then apply to one of those.
Yes.
Yeah. Apply to one of those. Whether it's international, okay lang din. Whether if you have the means to go abroad, to join with one of the Y Combinator companies, go ahead, by all means. Yeah. Right? So, pero if hindi, let's say money is still an object at the end of the day, right? If hindi kaya, then local. There's a very supportive local scene here of startups. And you can always run to run. You can always want to run, and all the guests that he has, and it's 300 plus episodes already. So that's Ron is the keeper, basically.
Yeah, there.
Keeper at the gate.
I'm the pimp. Ayan, oh, go here. There you go. No, because it really, you need to also be, every single founder has an archetype. Every single founder has a superpower. And the founder that you choose to work with or work for is basically the type of superpower that you want to be exposed with. Yeah.
Correct.
So if you happen to listen to a previous episode and whatnot, for example, you want to be in the e-commerce game, well, top of mind, you want to go into the Paulo Campuses of the world, the Steve C's of the world, the Ray Alimarons of the world. Why? Because these founders have not just also shown their superpower, they've won. You want to see what it takes to win. And here, Jake, technically, he's in staffing, talent sourcing. He learned that through the trade in Kalibrr because that's the name of the game. And again, it's not a zero-sum market. It's such a huge market where multiple players can win. Again, I know I want to ask more questions, but you need to fly soon. So again, thank you very much, Jake, for such an amazing episode. But before I let you go, invite people over if they want to work with you in Springboard, and if they also want to get their regalo to the Speed Regalo. Jose Marichan is going to be singing soon.
It's going to be
Where
knocking.
do they go?
It's going to be knocking.
And how do they do that?
For Springboard, you can go to springboard.com.ph for Speed Regalo. So for Springboard, if you want to work, if you want to explore opportunities in terms of like connecting to the biggest companies of the world, biggest companies, whether it's local, whether it's international, you can always visit the website and check us out there. There's an inquiry form, there's an apply form there. You can always send your resumes there. No? For the other side, naman, if you need your Christmas baskets, your corporate giveaways, especially like what Ron mentioned, Jose Marichan is already going to be knocking in a couple of months. Go to speedregalo.com. We're also on every social platform. You can check that out. So if you want to reach out to me, you can send me an email. So jake@springboardph.com. So it's a different domain from the actual website, but so those are the socials pretty much and the contact details.
Thank you so much, Jake. But before I let you go, follow us on whatever podcast app you're listening to, is Spotify, YouTube, or any type of podcast app. And if you see a follow button, please smash that button now para you can, for the next episode, you'll also get it. And again, if we did say some jargon, which I believe we did, it's going to be in the show notes on hustleshare.com. If you also want to be supportive of Hustleshare to create content like this, because it's not cheap and it's not easy to do this for the 6 years and counting, please do support us at premium.hustleshare.com. Again, Jake, thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
All right,
thank you, Ron.
so much.
I appreciate it.
And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.